Well, hey, y'all, I'm Melanie Redd, and I want to welcome you to the video version of Ordinary Women, Extraordinary God. And our purpose is still the same. We're working in tandem with Love Worth Finding to bring you encouragement to live without fear of the future. So we want you to grab coffee, tea, I've got my water, and join us. And the best part about these videos is that you're getting to meet some women that I think much of who also love Jesus. And we're just going to talk about him and about what he's teaching us. And so today I have Julie Lefebure. Lefebure? How do you pronounce your last name? I should have asked you before we started.
It's okay. I pronounce it Lef-a-bure.
Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah,
Good to
okay.
know. I know. And it's really fun because in the online world, you can have a lot of friends, right, Julie, that you've never met. So we've never met. We've never actually had a conversation until today, but I love it because I follow her. I'm on your email list and we're friends on Instagram, and I see what she writes and posts and how much she loves to encourage women. And so she says she helps women live less distracted. So this is going to be fun to talk about today. So welcome, Julie. We're so glad you're here.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to our conversation. This will be great.
It is going to be fun. And so tell us just a little bit about you. Introduce yourself and let everybody know kind of who you are and what you do.
Okay. Well, I live in Iowa, born and raised here as an Iowa girl, and we live in the rural community. I've been married to my husband for 30 years, and we have two grown children. And one is married, so I have a son-in-law, and two grandsons. So I am in, and I take care of my grandsons one day a week. And that, I see why God gives us children when we're young.
That's what I hear. I don't have any of those yet, but I hear that.
Oh, but it's such a joy. But yeah, I leave Wednesdays exhausted when I get home. I'm ready to crash. But yeah, my husband and I, we picked up tandem bicycling after when we became an empty nest. And my husband has always loved to bike, and so we now do that together. And we do a lot of tandem bicycling, and we have so much fun on that thing. And
for fun. Yes.
Yeah,
you're talking about the bicycle built for two. You're on that. Oh, that's so
we
fun.
are.
Okay, so I'm picturing like barns and fields and cows. Is that what Iowa looks like?
Some of it. Right around here, if you look out our windows, yeah, you're going to see in the summertime cornfields or bean fields, gravel. We live on a gravel road. There are a lot of cow farms, and but that's not all of Iowa, but that's probably my favorite part of Iowa because we live in the middle of nowhere, and I love it. But yet we're 20 minutes away from the nearest grocery store. It's okay, but that's all I've known all my life. And yeah, it works for us. But yeah, Iowa is completely different from one side of the state to the other. Yeah,
I think most states are. I live in Tennessee, and I'm on the flat side by the river. The other side is beautiful with mountains, and our side's pretty too. It's just completely different.
Yeah. We biked some of those hills in Tennessee one year.
Oh yeah, there's some. then you're in really good shape. If you bike on my side, it's much easier. So
it would be,
so
yes. And I'm
yes. Well, okay. One of the things I love to ask women is how they're ordinary, how you're just one of the girls, because we're ordinary women pursuing an extraordinary God. So what makes you just kind of one of the gals?
That's such a fun question. I think I'm as ordinary as they come. When I'm home working in my office, I usually in my sweatpants and sweatshirt, may or may not have my hair done and makeup on. And yeah. I love just being who I am. I've always been kind of like a tomboy, I guess. I grew up with three brothers, and I kind of fall in the middle of those three. And I followed what they did, and I'm there. I don't feel like I'm a fancy person. I like nice things, but I like to be simple. And I guess even where we live is kind of simple. So, but that doesn't mean life is always simple. No. But I just love talking with people and just being a friend to people.
That's good.
Yeah,
Good.
I'm
That's
just
cool.
ordinary. Yeah.
Me too. We are. I am too. You know, it's fun talking about your brothers. I grew up in a neighborhood. I have one brother, and my whole neighborhood there was one girl and about 20 boys. So I grew up playing everything the boys played, and to this day, I can do just about any sport, and I can throw a spiral football, and I understand the games because when you're around boys, what else do you do except learn to do what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it kind of makes you I think it gives you kind of a well-balanced view of life. And so I'm probably
Yeah.
one of those girls too, that I kind of like to be dressy, and then I kind of like to be not dressy too. So sounds like we've
Yeah.
got that in common. Yeah.
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 It sounds like that. That's great.
Well, let me ask you the flip side of the question. I love to ask this part, and I'm sure you have a bunch of answers, but maybe pick your top answer. What makes God extraordinary to you? What makes him sweet to you?
Oh goodness. He is, first of all, he saved me. Saved me from myself, saved me from the path that I was going down. As a younger person, I was kind of a rebel. Maybe, I don't know why, but I was, and I pushed the limits on a lot of things when it came to, my parents' guidelines, and I was just kind of a rebel, and he saved me from that. I think maybe I still am kind of a rebel, but he, in his grace and mercy, he has rescued me from the life I once lived, and
Mm.
I owe him everything. I'm so grateful that he gives me his mercy and grace every single day. So to me, that's the most extraordinary God, who would bend down and
Yeah.
love me and rescue me. Yeah.
Absolutely. And
So
it is
good.
extravagant. It's an extravagant gift, isn't it? You know, when
It
you think
is.
about how God loved us enough to save us. And that is an amazing testimony. And so I think that's wonderful. And, you know, I was thinking about, as we're looking ahead to this year, kind of current day, what are you looking forward to this year? What are you excited about in this year? Have you got anything coming up, or a project you're working on, or something that you're excited about?
Well, I really feel my word for the year is, it's not one I chose, but it's one that wouldn't leave me. So I knew God had this for me, is the word uncomfortable.
Oh, no. No.
Yeah. As you can see,
Yeah,
I would not have
wouldn't have
chosen
ever
that
picked
word.
that one.
Nope.
No, no.
But it wouldn't leave me. And I knew if I chose another one, I would regret it for the rest of the year. Just one of those heaviness on your heart. You got to choose this word. So again, I don't know what this year is going to hold. None of us know that, but I am trying every day to do something that makes me uncomfortable. And
what have you tried? I'd love to know. What's something that you've given a shot that makes you uncomfortable?
Well, for example, this morning, I have a new computer system, and this morning it was time for me to upgrade the antivirus software. I don't know anything about that stuff. So I had to Google, okay, why won't this load? It just wasn't loading. And I was able to walk through it all myself without having my husband's help.
Yeah.
And, you know, a month or so ago, I would have been like, oh, I'm just going to wait till Bill gets home so he can help me with this. But no, I'm just forging ahead and trying to do what's uncomfortable.
I love that. My word this year is something new, and I'm trying to do something new more often, and just not get stuck in the rut. So it sounds like we're doing some of the same things, and it's very refreshing. I think it keeps you younger, and it gives you energy to kind of step out into the unknown and do something you're not really comfortable doing.
Yeah, yeah. And one big thing that I've had this book percolating in me for a number of years, and just since last July, I've really made some headway with it. And I believe, okay, this is the year. If I'm going to be uncomfortable, this is the year I'm going to go ahead and self-publish this book. So that's my big thing for 2023. But I just taking it a step at a time. But yeah, it's makes me uncomfortable.
Can you give us a little hint about the book?
It's a woman's guide. It's a guide to help women live undistracted in a distraction-filled world. And I am all about living undistracted. I know that I get so distracted throughout the day. I know that other women do too. And I feel like it's a resource that will really help lots of women out there.
It sounds really good. I'll look forward to it, and you'll have to get us that information when it comes out. You go, girl. Write that book. I always tell people will talk to me. I published several books and they'll say, how'd you do it? And I said, you just decide to do it. And it's a lot of work, but you go for it and you don't stop until it's done. And so I applaud you. Go girl. I mean, when you've got one on your heart, you need to get it out there. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
And,
thank you. I'm excited.
I'll tell you what's funny. While we're talking about distractions, I have this child that's walked in and out the door about 5 times. I'm going to kill him later because it's so distracting. So that is life for women, isn't it? We get distracted, and maybe while you're watching this, you're distracted. But I'm excited that we're talking to Julie today, and you're hearing her story, and maybe she's going to give us some suggestions about how to be less distracted. So let me put this in kind of a combined question. What's God teaching you? And would you talk some about how to be less distracted, or give us a little taste of what you're writing? Because I think a lot of us struggle with it, and it's so easy to get distracted. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Well, one thing that God has really pressed upon my heart is this little, it's a verse, and it's, not the verse that I've chosen for this year, but it's one I just have on a little sticky note on my desk. I got to get my glasses on so I can read it. But it's Psalm 25, verses 4 and 5. And it says, show me your ways, Lord, teach me your paths, guide me in your truth and teach me, for you are God, my savior, and my hope is in you all day long. And it's just so much in that verse. It's just, I pray that God shows me every day and teaches me and guides me, because my hope is in him. It can't be in anything else. And really, that's the basis of how we can live less distracted, is keeping our focus on him and this verse. It really, that's really a big secret. It's just keeping our focus on him and not on all of the other things that try to entice us away from the moment.
That's a great goal. And I want to follow up on that a little bit, because women will ask me, what does that really look like? So break that down. What does that look like for you as you start your day, or in the morning? Or how do you tell women? They say, well, I don't know exactly what you mean. Can you break that down just a little bit more and tell us what can we do starting our days to be a little less distracted? How could we focus on God? What do you do to kind of accomplish that?
Yeah. Well, I enjoy journaling, and I've returned back to the habit of journaling my prayers, because I know that my flesh is weak and I can just voice a prayer, and God wants us to talk to him throughout the day. I fully believe that. But yet seeing my prayers in black and white have just impacted my spiritual walk. And sometimes I feel like I'm a broken record to God, and I continue to pray for the same things, but he asks us, he tells us to ask, seek, and knock. Jesus said that in Matthew, I think 7:7, that we're supposed to ask, seek, and knock. And if we don't ask, we'll never receive. So I, every morning when I wake up, I grab a glass of water and I come down to my office, and I just spend I don't really look at the time. I just spend a good amount of time with God, journaling my prayers, opening up my Bible, seeking his will for the day, because I know if I don't, I will be distracted throughout my day, and I will be going here and going there. And, my attention will just be scattered. But doing that really helps me stay focused. And I may not know exactly what God wants me to do throughout the day, but I just keep walking. Okay, God, what am I supposed to do next? What do you want me to do next? How can, who do I need to encourage today? Just asking some specific questions in those prayers as well really has helped me a lot, just to stay focused, like I said. Yeah.
That's such a good practice. And that's what I do too. People ask me, do you spend hours? Well, sometimes I may, but it depends on the day, but I love to do that too. I love to open the Bible, and I have a notebook and a pen. I even have a to-do list. And as I get distracted, I write down something to do on the to-do list and keep going. And I put my phone down, and you just have to really kind of discipline yourself to stay undistracted, because there's so many distractions. Yeah.
And a lot of them are in our own heads.
A lot of them are ourselves, don't we?
Either, something that happened yesterday, or something we're nervous about in the future, or something that, just pops in our head. It's like, well, I don't want to think about this right now. And those are those good things we can write down and come back to later.
Write them down.
Yeah.
And I tell
Yeah.
women, it is worth getting up a little bit early just to have a few minutes alone with the Lord every single day. It makes all the difference in the day. It's like you get your direction, and you get peace, and you kind of calm your heart and your mind, and God's able to show you. And you're right. Then during the day, you can go, okay, do I need to do this, or can that wait? Or is this pressing? And you just can have that sense. God's, gives you this encouragement. I need to call that person, or I need to follow through. But if I don't start with him, I am distracted.
Yeah.
So that's a great
It's so
example.
easy.
Yeah. And I love to journal too. There's something about writing. Seems like the older I get, the more I need a pen in hand, because it keeps my brain focused. So that's a great suggestion. Yeah, absolutely.
It works for me. Yeah, it just works for
Well,
me.
if somebody's watching, I would encourage you, get a journal, get a Bible, get a pen, and it'll help. So you're not just looking at something and not engaging and interacting with it. Yeah. I love that. Well, Julie, if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way? Have you got it? Do you like them to come to your website, or have you got do you like email? What's the best way for people to reach you?
And my website's probably the easiest. There's a little area on there that you can contact me. That's probably the easiest, just because it's just, my website is just my name, julielefebure.com. And on there's also lots of fun resources and things that women can find. But yeah, there's a contact thing on there, little menu option that people can reach me through too.
We'll add that in the notes, and I'll also put your Instagram if people want to find you and follow you on Instagram. And I'll tell you, if you reach out to Julie, just say, hey, I watched your video with Melanie with the Ordinary Women Extraordinary God, and I wanted to meet you. And I'm sure you won't mind that a bit. I'm sure you'd love to meet some new friends and have some more people come over and look around your ministry, right?
Yeah, I love, and that's one thing I pray for every day, is that those who are in my email list, or, who I email on a regular basis, or who come across my feed on social media, that God will just encourage them through whatever he has for me to post or to say. Yeah. So I pray for that women are encouraged through that.
That's good. And I want to encourage y'all to go find Julie and follow her, and you'll find the links. You can stay on the video and click on over, and you'll have the link right here at the bottom. And so get in touch with her and get to know her. And I highly recommend her ministry. And so I'm excited to share that with everyone. Well, before we go, I like to ask this question, because sometimes there's something pressing on your heart or burning on your heart. Is there anything else you'd like to share? Is there anything else God's put on your heart, a verse, a quote, something just to encourage those that are watching?
Well, we as women, we just wear so many hats, and it's hard some days to do all that we do. And the way that we can stay encouraged is just stay connected to God and each other. We need each other. We do not do well on our own. Even if we're introverts, we still need the connection of other people. Maybe not as much, but staying with each other and staying with God, that's what's going to keep us encouraged. And just to keep walking your own path out with God. Yours is going to be different than Melanie's or mine or anyone else's. It's all on our own individual paths with him. And that's so important that we just stay connected to him throughout our day.
Well, when you shared that, it makes me think of the question that was asked to Jesus in the Gospels, where they said, what's the main commandment? And he said, you love God with all your heart, and you love people as yourself. And I do think we need God, and we need other people. That's such a good word. And so if you're struggling, if you're lonely, I know I talk to a lot of you who are struggling. I want to encourage you, start talking to the Lord, get that journal, get that Bible. And the Bible in James 4:8, it says, draw near to God and he will draw near to you. And then I want to encourage you, don't be afraid to reach out. I mean, I have people reach out to me, and I reach out all the time on social media or through text. Reach out, call an old friend, call a family member. Don't be alone. Don't be lonely. Reach out to somebody and give to them what you need. The man that founded our ministry used to say, give to other people what you need. And so if you're struggling and you're feeling lonely, then I'm sure someone else is. I know they are. And so you reach out, and it'll meet a need for you and encourage somebody else. So thank you, Julie. That was such a good word. And it's been a joy. Thank you for just joining us today and having a conversation. And this was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. I just enjoy what you post, Melanie. I enjoy your ministry, and I'm glad that we can we can just do this together. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you.
Yes, well, we hope you've been blessed by this little conversation, and our prayer is that you'll be encouraged. And at Ordinary Women, Extraordinary God, our real goal is to help you to laugh without fear of the future. And so that's what our prayer has been today, that you've just been encouraged just a little bit in your faith. And so join us again. We're going to do more of these, and let us hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, leave it below. We'd love to hear from you. And find Julie. Check out Julie's ministry and get to know her. And God bless you until the next time we meet. It's been good to talk to you, Julie. Thank you.
Thank you. You too.